Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final virtual business workshop in our 2024 series. I'm Michael Caseo. I'm the Commissioner of the Niagara County Department of Economic Development. And before we get started and introduce our presenters, a couple of housekeeping items that I wanted to share. You are going to be muted throughout the presentation. If you have a question, please use the Q&A or chat panel at the bottom of the screen, and we'll answer your questions at the end of the program. If we cannot answer all your questions in our allotted time, we'll follow up with you afterwards and get you the information you need. Today's workshop is designed to give you an overview of the various programs that are out there. We'd be happy to schedule a one-on-one meeting with you to discuss any of the programs in more detail. Just let us know, again, in the Q&A or chat panel, and we'll reach right back out to you. Now, before we introduce our presenters, I also wanted to let you know that if you missed any of our workshops earlier this year, that discussed local business resources from our Niagara County Center for Economic Development and low-cost power and energy efficiency programs, which included EV charging station incentives, you can go to our website at www.niagaracountybusiness.com. You can click on the About Us tab, go to Featured Events, and you'll be able to watch a recording of those workshops. You can see the direct link to that page is here on this slide. We are in the process of developing our workshop series for 2025. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, you may want to do so. Also, there's going to be a survey at the end of this webinar. When you answer those questions, it'll help us develop that 2025 workshop series. Again, I'd like to thank Kathy Sinor in my office, my confidential assistant, for setting up this WebEx and all of our business workshop series. Thank you, Kathy, very much. Today's workshop is going to feature workforce development and job training programs and incentives. I'd like to thank our presenters for their valuable time to present this morning, and I'd like to introduce them if you'd like to. Some of them are on call today because we're having technical issues, but if we can see you and you're there, please raise your hand when I introduce you. Donald Jablonski is the Director of Niagara County Employment and Training at WorkSource One. He's calling in this morning. Allie Sharp, who is the Director of the Niagara County Dream and Do It Advanced Manufacturing Program. Mark Laurie, who is, as you know, Superintendent of the Niagara Falls School District. Mary Alice Torba, Director of Workforce Development at SUNY Niagara. And Maureen Bartlett, who's the Coordinator of Adult Education at Orleans Niagara BOCES. Thank you so much, presenters, for all of your time this morning. And before we begin our presentations, just a reminder, so you don't stress out taking notes like crazy, we're going to be sending you an email soon after this morning's workshop, and it'll contain the slide deck that you're about to see from all of our presenters. That slide deck will contain active links for you to click on to contact our presenters. So again, you don't have to go nuts taking notes this morning. So let's get right to it. Our first presenter, Don Jablonski from Niagara County Employment and Training, who will discuss the many workforce development and training resources available from Niagara's WorkSource One. Don, take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone is enjoying the sunshine out there today. And thank you for allowing me to speak. I apologize for the technical issues this morning, but we will soldier through. Mike, like you said, my name is Don Jablonski. I am the Director of Employment and Training here in Niagara County, and we have two offices. One is in the Trot Access Center here in Niagara Falls, and we have a new Lockport office that we just opened several months ago that is in the Civil Defense Building at 139 Niagara Street in Lockport. That's right behind the county courthouse. So without further ado, Kathy, if you have the slides up there, I cannot see them, so I guess I'm just gonna go along.
They're there for you, Don.
Okay, the training resources slide at Niagara County's WorkSource One. We do several things. Now, the first thing we do is we do on-the-job training funding, which is to reimburse between 50 and 75% of all startup costs for any type of training for a qualified new hire. Now, this usually helps for onboarding costs and getting them up to speed, and we will reimburse up to $5,000 of starting salary. That goes a long way in at least covering the partial cost of onboarding today. And this is a grant. This is not a loan. This is completely paid to you, and this is through the Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So this is something that we do offer. And then at last program year, we spent over $1 million, and we actually ran out of money. It's been such a popular thing. So the on-the-job training funding is something that many businesses have taken advantage of. The second part of this is customized training. What this is that we'll reimburse up to 50% of total training costs. Now, this is to pay the trainer. This is not to pay the employees. So if you have a machine that you need to have updated, or you brought in a brand new one, or you're having something reprogrammed, this is something that we can pay up to 50% of what the trainer cost is. Next slide, Kath. Recruitment tools. In the center, we offer and we do hold weekly recruitment events where you can meet up to 30 interested candidates to discuss your company's opportunity. We even do pre-screen interviews. We have a conference room here in Niagara Falls, and we actually have a really large room for a large-scale event up on our second floor, and which we do hold a couple of those a year. So we can do weekly recruitment events, based on your schedule and your needs. We have what we call professional opportunity developers. That is a group of middle to upper management people that basically share leads, but they meet once every couple of weeks, and we've been doing it on WebEx or Zoom. Funny that you mentioned that. I can't get on it, but we share leads, and there's no headhunter fees involved. It's something that is completely free. We will promote and post your job openings. We have a hot jobs page that we use in our center. We also put our jobs out to the Western New York Job Bank, the New York State Job Bank, and once they hit the New York State Job Bank, usually the big nationals will pick up a lot of the jobs, like the Monsters and the Indeeds. And but you can come and use our facilities for free. You won't have to pay for them like you do with the nationals. Next slide, please. We do additional recruitment tools. We review qualifications of all local applicants through our Niagara's Talent Candidate Resume feature. What that is that we will post resumes from candidates that we interview here for specific placement. It could be a machinist, or it could be somebody that is looking for manufacturing or production. We will upload the resumes. There won't be a name and address, but it will have the qualifications on them. If you see something that you're interested in, we will pass along the contact information, and then you can deal with the applicant directly. And if they are a fit, then maybe we can talk about on-the-job training funding. We will screen potential applicants qualified to match your specifications, like I just said, and we will hold open interview sessions. And companies, for example, Home Depot was just here recently, and they usually hire on the spot. So if you have high demand, or if you have something specific, you can come and use our center, and you can tap into our traffic. We also have relationships with the New York State Department of Labor, and we have we share systems that we can find and do job matches for your specific needs. We also do pre-employment literally or skills testing. We even do what we call SAMS testing for a couple of companies so that they can do some pre-screening before they do interviews. And lastly, I want to mention that our career fairs. We hold 4 career fairs a year. 3 of them are outdoor, which are highly successful, and we have had up to 70 and 75 businesses take part in it. Some of them found candidates right on the spot. Some of them have multiple interviews, but it's been a huge success. We've done this since COVID, and it was so popular that we just decided to continue it. And quite frankly, the businesses like it that way. They're able to get out into a completely different environment. It's much more relaxed, and the candidates are much more in tune to talking with the employers. So it's been great for both parties. We even do pop-up career fairs for specific job titles or specific industries. We did one in Lockport recently for a couple of employers that requested something because they had a couple of specialty openings. So we will do that as well. Next slide. This is our information. You can get a hold of us at 278-8148, or you can check our website out at www.worksource1, that's the number 1.com, and my email is also included, donald.jablonski@niagaracounty.com, and you can contact me directly if you have any specific questions or if I can clarify something. So with that, I appreciate everybody's time, and Mike, we can go on to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. I really appreciate that. Just a quick reminder, that slide that shows Don's name and email address, this whole slide deck's going to be sent to you, so you can just click on that and get to Don quickly if you have a question or you want more information. Thanks again, Don. Our next presenter is Allison. Thanks, Don. Our next presenter is Allison Sharp. She's the director of Niagara County Dream It Do It, and she'll discuss an exciting new program here in Niagara County, the Dream It Do It Advanced Manufacturing Program. Take it away, Allie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike, for having me on, and Kathy for putting this together. It's awesome. I'm really excited. This will be my first ever one doing this, so I'm just glad to be here today. And with that, I do want to say that my slides are a little bit long, and I am sorry. I need to get the habit of being a teacher out of me, so I think I went a little too hard on some of the slides. So I apologize for that, but I will keep some of it brief. So Kathy, you can go to the next slide, but Dream It Do It is a new program here in Niagara County, me being the director, as Mike said. The challenge that we're focusing on working on is finding and helping the different manufacturers in the area of Niagara County and seeing that they have a lot of needs and how we can help fill the different job openings. This is some of the statistics that we have based on that, and just the fact that we know, and in the conversations I've had with the different companies and industry, that there is a high need in all levels of skilled within manufacturing. There's the next slide has some more data for me here. So we are, Dream It Do It is focused in Erie County, Niagara County, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Allegheny. So the statistics for Niagara here are probably, I could update them some more, but with this, we've been in 2009 with Dream It Do It. We facilitated over 75,000 different interactions within students, teachers, counselors, administrators, and then manufacturers in the region. Go ahead, sorry. All right, so our solution that we have is that we are really just working on reaching the different talent and talking to the different students. This is not an end-all be-all solution, but it's just a tool, and how can we create that early talent pipeline from students to manufacturers. I think the biggest part is making those connections. So in those connections, we've been talking and being built by students, teachers, counselors, principals, funders, manufacturers. It's really in focus on engaging, enriching the different students in the area, all the different counties, schools, and then focusing on how can we reward them and give them credentials and that are recognized in industry so that they find the different pathways into the manufacturers. And all the QR codes on the PowerPoint do link to our website or how to sign up in our different programs and enroll in Dream It Do It. This is my teachery looking slide, so I apologize. Really, the Dream It Do It solutions that we have are, like I mentioned, bridging those connections, making the connections from schools to companies and manufacturers, helping them be educated with students and rewarding students and becoming interested in those pathways. I said digitally connect to students. We're doing more than just digital, right? Like I am in and out of schools throughout the weeks. That is my biggest focus, is how can I be in front of as many students as I can and help facilitate different tours and different connections. But we are also using a platform called Tallo so that we are digitally connecting them, and so that that connection can stay ongoing from companies to students. And then our last one is I think the biggest one is called the Applied Learning Opportunities. This is a big one because I was talking to my team with Dream It Do It, and everyone uses the terms hands-on, right? Everything's hands-on, hands-on. And in the school lingo, right? Jargon, it's always changing, and it is now applied learning opportunities. So when we hear applied learning, it's still talking about how do we get those hands-on activities, kids getting engaged in the different opportunities within manufacturing. So our intentions are to constantly increase understanding of manufacturers in the area and what the different opportunities are, allow students to explore the different opportunities, and then, like I mentioned, create that platform for Talos on Talos so that the companies can connect to the different students and identifying those different early talent. Decrease manufacturing recruitment costs, and then increase the interest in careers. We do not provide training. That's a question that we get a lot of, but it's just really the way that we can facilitate between the different training opportunities to the different companies. So this is kind of, and I think this will answer the question that was just mentioned. So we're looking at enrolling in Dream It Do It. You enroll through our platform for Talo. This is kind of a lot of the conversation that I have with the students in schools. You enroll in the platform, which is completely free for students to enroll on. As they're enrolled, they're able to start to take different courses in manufacturing, recognizing the different camps and events that they go to, rewarding them by achieving different badges through our program, which I will also touch on. They go to camps, the tours, as many opportunities that we can get their hands on. This will allow them to create that experience. They achieve the different belt levels through our Dream It Do It advanced manufacturing program, and then that will hopefully help them take off into a manufacturing career. So it's kind of an outline look there. Our target audience is the 8th through 12th grade. We're not pigeonholing any one audience though. When I spelled this line out, the slide out, this just made sense in my brain. When I'm thinking 8th and 9th, 10th grade, we're really focused on that hands-on, the applied learning, getting them in camps, getting them into tours and seeing, wow, this is what this is. Can I take a course in my following years to expand on those skills that I just learned about? And then as we get into the 11th and 12th, it's really that conversation of what am I doing next year, right? What am I doing as I graduate? So it's different in the ways that we talk to these students. And I think that's one of the goals as I have myself, as I meet with manufacturers, is how can we better engage these students and talk to them, and as each grade is different and each age is different. So overall, our Dream It Do It program is focused on the 8th through 12th grade students, all doing it in a different way that best meet their different needs. So since we don't train, we're looking through the different BOCES programs, SUNY Niagara, P-TECH students, and all the different Niagara County students and what they do with their technology courses, what their background experiences and prior knowledge are, and their high drive to work in hands-on situations. So a lot of these we have on here today, but also I've made some connections with as well. So continuing to make those connections with the different trainings that are out there. Current collaborations. So this is who we have currently. We also have the different schools, some Newfane, Barker, Roy Hart are all on we're communicating in upcoming meetings, which is great. And also the manufacturing list is growing and growing. So I wanted to put this on there because I think it's really important to know that we're making a lot of progress in having these conversations, and hopefully if we do this again, I can come on and have like 4 slides of this collaboration. That'd be really cool. So it's all really great to be having these conversations because these are already the links that we can start to have. And when I talk about those connections, it's going to be doing manufacturing tours, manufacturing camps, which in the next few slides I'll talk on some of them. That Talo platform, which is essentially like a LinkedIn so that kids can be on there, and then also allow manufacturers to connect with them, and then talking about the different apprenticeship or training opportunities that will further their engagement in education. So manufacturing camps are the Girls in Manufacturing Camp. We'll host 2 of those, Manufacturing Mayhem, and then the teacher camps, teacher camping counselor. So I think that one's really important as well because it helps us have those conversations with teachers and counselors who are the ones that are having daily conversations with students. So these camps are just ways for us to create applied learning opportunities for students to really start to get engaged. They get to weld, they put together rocket stoves. We're teaming up with SUNY Niagara, and they're going to allow us to utilize their space. So we have a great place that we can bring students in and have them understand the different skills that they'd be utilizing in industry. And this is the badges that I was mentioning. So we are working towards having these badges be recognized in industry so that students will, as they earn them, as they participate in something, participate in a camp, participate in a tour, they will earn these badges, and this can be posted on the Tallo platform so that a manufacturer can come on and see, oh, I know that the student learned this at this camp. Or learned this skill and completed this, which that means they have this level of engagement and some certification towards it. These are ongoing learning. So we all know this is an early platform, early pilot. We are learning how to make these badges an incentive for students, but also recognizable in industry. So I am always open to feedback on that as well. So this is where we have with the badges, which are aligned with the next slide that we have with the belts. And actually, you can skip right to the next slide for this one. So there's yellow, green, black belt, and master belt. And this slide, as Mike mentioned, you'll have access to, so I'm not going to go all through for it, but it shows how each different badge will be aligned and how the different certifications as students fall under the different belts as they grow throughout our Dream It, Do It program. So that way that when they're on Tallo and you can see what level of engagement they are, what things they've completed, how much training have they completed. This will all be accessible to industry. So Tallo is one of the biggest questions that we get. Tallo is our platform. We're enrolling students through Tallo. I have mentioned the schools that we're working with, and they are all signing with us on Tallo. That's huge because it allows us to have that access to keep connecting with students. So they don't just see me and then forget about who I am 2 days later, because we all know students have a very short attention span. So Tallo will allow me to keep connecting, allow manufacturers to make that connection. And that's the difference with Tallo. It is the only platform, because schools use lots of platforms, that allows there to be constant connection with the students. If you want to go to the next slide, I think it goes further into Tallo. So with Tallo, you can make those connections. Students can organize and show off their resume, their portfolios, what they've completed, their scholarship opportunities on there. This data at the bottom too just talks about the different population of Tallo and how they're trying to make the connections in the area. Any feedback on Tallo also and questions I'm open for, because it is, like I mentioned, new, we're learning it, but so far schools that I've been working with have a lot of interest in it because it allows them to help students build their own resumes and build what they are completed in. This is the enrollment for Tallo. So if anyone finds it really fun and interesting, you can go right on that QR code and it'll enroll you in Tallo, and it allows you to build your own profile, and it'll go right under our Dream It, Do It platform. So it's all geared towards manufacturing, because Tallo is a really big platform that will let you look into lots of things, but we have it geared towards specifically in manufacturing industry. All right, and these are also our links for our LinkedIn and our Dream It, Do It site. I know I kind of went through that really quick. I feel like there's a lot of information on it there, but if anyone has questions or anything, please reach out to me. I love feedback, and I would love to connect further with everyone on anything with Dream It, Do It. So thank you so much for Mike Casale and the Economic Development for helping us put this together and funding us. It's awesome. So thank you, Jay.
No, thank you, Allie. And you, those of you who are on, you'll see that we're really putting an extra focus on developing that future talent pipeline. That's so important, especially in the manufacturing sector. Now, I know you've got on this slide questions, Allie, and I know, Kathy, we have some questions that I think that are specifically, pointed at Allie. Can you share some of those? I want to go through those now, or?
Yes, yeah, we'll go through a couple here, and then we have a couple other questions I think are going to be discussed with the later presenters.
Okay.
But Allie, I think you touched on the rewards, how the students are rewarded through Dream It, Do It. So the second part of the question is, are students enrolled in a cohort that they stay together through the process? Do they meet in groups, or is this something that's more individualized?
It can look like both ways. So once they're on Tallo, it's not necessarily a cohort where they're going to be only within their school. However, manufacturers can look on Tallo for students within a certain area. They can make a radius and be like, I want to know the amount of interested students or amount of profiles in the area of Lockport, and they can make it like that. But they do not necessarily stay in a cohort. Now, as of right now, as I'm making the connections with schools, if I go to North Tonawanda and set up a tour, which I do actually have in the following week with a company in Niagara, then that's going to look like a group of North Tonawanda students. But camps can look like multiple schools. It's open to anyone for the different camps.
Okay, thank you. And I know Teresa has a few questions. Teresa, I think you stay on the webinar. You're going to find that some of those answers come to you with our other presenters a little further along. So Mike, I think we can move forward.
Okay, thank you. Thank you again, Allie. Appreciate your presentation. Our next presenter is Mark Laurie, Superintendent of Niagara Falls School District, who will discuss an exciting program designed to help guide students on the best pathway to post-secondary success. Mark, take it away.
Thanks, Mike. And I think the first point that I want to make really strong emphasis on is you're hearing like 5 or 6 individual presentations. You heard from Don, you heard from Allie, you heard from myself. Through the people on the screen, we all have learned to collaborate and work together, and we kind of all know where we fit and we complement each other. So I really think that it's important that you may see 5 different presentations, but all of us are talking continuously. I wanted to just hit, before I get into PS2, I wanted to hit on a couple of things that hope resonate with you and maybe will challenge you. The first thing I want to hit on is that it's really important that business and manufacturing and everyone in the post-secondary world understands that the new graduation standards in New York State are changing. I think even some young people on this call took Regents exams. They're not completely going away, but there's the opportunity to graduate from high school by demonstrating as much as sitting in an auditorium and taking a paper and pencil test. So while I'm often critical of the New York State Education Department, I want to ask you to continue to help us support the new graduation standards, because they drive right along with the presentations that you're seeing today and a greater focus on preparing people, kids, students, for careers outside of high school. And I think it's a realization finally that every student is not destined to go to college. And that's a good thing that realization is coming forth. And I think when you think from that perspective, it's important to note that there's a difference between everybody getting a job and everybody having a career. What the partners on here stand for are careers. And while in Buffalo on the east side, they created Northlands, which is a great facility, what I think Mike and the team have done have created in very different and separate pockets a Northlands North. That's what we're really trying to do without the building, without the facility. We're trying to bring it forth. So very briefly, before I go into this PS2 quick presentation, thank you, Blake. It looked like you were cheering. The person that cheered for me today, so that's probably for the rest of the week. But thanks, Blake. I don't know who you are, but I like you. Let me just go through a couple of other things. First of all, Dream It, Do It is a part of the plan. The hiring of Allie was extremely well thought out. She comes from a teaching background, but is able to cross into the other area. And I think that's going to be a key to bring the county involved. So I really kudos to the county and kudos to having them hire someone of her caliber. That's one thing. Second thing, and I'll jump on one of Allie's slides, in schools, we can't wait till 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade. We've got to start showing our 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th graders the manufacturing career jobs that are available at that age, so they can start thinking about it that young. And while you may not know what you're going to do when you're 10 years old, you need to start implanting those kind of thoughts in a young person's mind. And again, that's just for exposure. Second thing I wanted to mention in Niagara Falls, if you have a chance and you live close to the Hyde Park area, I'd ask you to drive down Robbins Drive and look at the brand new gazebo that was built across from the Veterans Monument. It's huge. The gazebo was built by 25 Niagara Falls High School students. The steel was erected. The roof is going on tomorrow. The concrete was poured. The electrical was poured. Every trade was involved except plumbing. And that was built by 25 students currently in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade at Niagara Falls High School. We have a program called Construction Trades with a teacher dedicated to that. And in conjunction with that, at the end of this semester, 200 students at Niagara Falls High School will have their OSHA 10 cards. And my point in bringing that up is when you give a student an OSHA 10 card, that could also be a ticket to a future career. We in schools have to start thinking about doing things like giving kids tickets, credentials, and endorsements that will give them money and power in their pocket to leave high school with more than just a diploma. I'm super proud of that gazebo. If you saw it, and we'll put a picture montage together of the kids doing it, they were great. Next, we have currently 157 students in the P-TECH program. Our first 32 students will graduate with a P-TECH degree. They're mostly 34 hours or more to an associate's degree while in high school, and they're all in an industrial manufacturing track. I know some of the friends on here are even looking at hiring them right out of high school, but they have 34 college credits already, which I think is something that, has to happen in high school. To that degree, we offer 60 college credits at Niagara Falls High School, 60 different college courses. And those college courses are lined up with multiple pathways that I'll talk about in a minute. Finally, before I go into the slide presentation, which is very short, we are going to be the first expansion site in Niagara Falls of a program that they've done successfully in Buffalo called Say Yes. Say Yes Niagara Falls will come to this city September 1st of 2025, and we are now raising endowment funds, of which we're off to a great start, to pay for the last dollar in for kids to go to college, to pay for their college at any SUNY, CUNY, or 106 private institutions, including Niagara University, Canisius, and so forth. It also will pay for any apprenticeship courses that students need to take to become part of the workforce. So if a student is getting out of high school into an apprenticeship course, that will be paid for by Say Yes Niagara Falls. Finally, we have this post-secondary success program that we've been using, and Kathy, I know you can advance the slide. Post-secondary success means, past your high school days, what happens? It's a program to give a pathway to students where they do more than one day drive-by shadows. They do internships, externships, and they stay connected. And we give course credit for this. The kids need to get out of high school and see what's happening before they graduate. Next slide. We have multiple courses, 50 partners, and that number, because this is a little dated, is now 18,000 hours of real work while you're in high school. And that includes all the construction trades, but areas from mortuary science to working at the Sheridan in downtown. That is happening in high school. One more slide, I think. We're up to 60 again, 60 as of September 1st. I have to update this. And tomorrow I'm bringing President Stephen Stout from Canisius University, because Canisius is one that doesn't have any courses there. But notice there, I only want to call attention because we know the local colleges. Please look at the last one, Stanford. Stanford is in Palo Alto, California. Our students can get 5 credit hours from Stanford to learn artificial intelligence from Stanford professors. That's a sampling of what we are doing at the high school. Next slide. Here's just a couple of pictures of kids working. Well,
Mark, do you want me to play the video?
Go ahead and play. It's a minute long.
Have it
So-
come up here.
Enjoy. Minute 17. Yep, thank you, Kathy. Just in conclusion, we have 3 counselors assigned to Niagara Falls High School just to match kids with businesses. That's all they do, and they coach kids in businesses and they shadow kids. You saw on there some horses and some other things. Veterinary science is in there. You saw M&T Tech Hub is in there. You saw a police academy in there. I say that because it's more than just the trades. It's a varied opportunity depending on what a student's need. So in conclusion, working together with the other people on this call under the direction of and guidance of Mike to coordinate it all in the team, I think we're really making headway. And while we may not have that Northland North, we might have 6 different Northlands in various parts of this county. So I'm proud to be just a small part of it.
Thank you, Mark. And again, if you're interested, here's that QR code, and you'll be getting this this presentation. You'll be able to click on that and get more information. Again, thank you so much, Mark. Next up on the program, we've got Mary Alice Torba, who is the Director of Workforce Development, SUNY Niagara, to talk about the many programs for employers, as well as SUNY Niagara's Small Business Development Center. Mary Alice, the floor is yours.
Good morning. If we could just advance to the next slide. I am the Director for Workforce Development, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the credit education. I'll hit into workforce development and our Small Business Development Center, all of which are set up to help businesses. I know there were some questions that Teresa had on some of the other programs that might be 2-year that might help students and help businesses to get employees. We do have some of those programs over on our credit side area. There are opportunities where students can work with QuickBooks through an accounting program we have here. We have a business program. We also have programs in some of the areas you were talking about in the direct medical areas, such as the radiology program. So those are programs that we do have that we do help students get into outside areas. I do know some of the other colleges locally, for instance, GCC has respiratory therapy, so some of the SUNY colleges do address that. So there is the credit side education. Those areas help employers where they can send employees to get training. So we do partner on that side with employees that can come in and get training. And some employers use that as an incentive for employees. So they send students to classes here as part of an incentive to work there to get a higher level of education. So that happens. We also have internships through a lot of our programs. So some of the businesses that may be on here can hook up with our career services area to find someone to intern. So that can go through our career services area. Our career services area lets employers post job lists. So any of the programs we have, if you're looking to hire one of our graduates, you can post a job list, post on our job board. You can also work, send someone to one of the career fairs or work with Kate to set up a build or a table of your own at some point here to just reach out to our students. So we do try to allow employers to reach out to students in all different areas. And so that is available through the credit side. The links are right on the program, on the slide. And so you can use those links to find more information about it, or I will try to answer any questions that you have with it. Next slide. Workforce development is really my area. We have apprentices so companies hire us to do related instruction for apprentices. Currently, we're working in machining. So we have machine apprentices, we're doing related instruction for machine apprentices. So we do apprenticeship training through our program. We do that both on the credit side and through workforce. So depending on what it is, on the non-credit side, workforce side, we are working directly with machining apprentices currently. We do a lot of different training for companies. In addition to the apprenticeships, we cover OSHA topics and safety training. So we do a lot of different safety training. We also do training in other areas. Next slide, please. Such as computer skills. We do Excel, Outlook, MS Word, Adobe. We could certainly train in QuickBooks. That's something we could do through our program. If you have a group of employees that needed something like QuickBook training, we could do that. We partner when we do this customized training directly with the company. So when we do new supervisor training for one company, it might include things like reading financial spreadsheets, creating a budget. For another company, it might look like how to get on the floor and work with employees who were currently or who had previously been your friends, and now you're having to develop those skills to deal with them as employees. And so depending on what the company needs, we work to meet those needs. We do some project design and management along the way, so that might be part of training that a company would need us to do. We have a lot of career programs, so through workforce, we do hit some of the medical areas. Sterile processing technician is a very large program for us. EMT, AEMT, paramedic refresher are large programs for us. We have a pharmacy technician program that is very big through our area. We do commercial drone. We have programs in floral design, landscaping, greenhouse management. So we do those areas and work with people can very quickly. I don't know if you know about how quickly students can get out of our career programs, but they're all they're 3 months, 4 months max. Few days a week, and students are out of those and into a job area. So those are very good for students. We have cannabis cultivation, processing, and retail areas that students can work in through us or learn to work through us. Next slide. We do a lot through workforce development. We also do skills and interest courses for students. So we have done things like we are doing currently a driver education in motorcycle programming. We occasionally have different courses up, such as extreme couponing. We've had writing and publishing courses. We've had courses for people who are interested in opening a home-based business. We have through our NFCI branch Serve Safe cooking class demonstration and youth camps. So students who are interested in doing youth camps, learning a little bit about cooking, about the industry, can do that. One of the things I didn't mention, NFCI also has a career, an introductory career program for students who want to get into the cooking and baking end of things. And they can take that course, and it advances for credit if they want to go further into that through NFCI, through the Community Education Division. We work with a lot of different grants. We have SUNY grants for apprenticeships and cannabis education currently. We have DOL grants we've had in the past for employers who need to train in safety. We don't currently have one, but we've had them in the past. We work with agencies like WIOA, Access VR, Native American. We work with a lot of agencies that are labor unions, things like that, to help employees get training so they don't have to pay for it. We work with, there's a workforce development training grant that is available if an employer is interested in partnering with us in that. If you contact me directly, I can help you learn a little bit more about that, but there's a minimum amount, so it's got to be a lot of training that you need. But we can partner with a workforce from a company to develop training and put that through SUNY. It has to be training that is upgrading skills sort of training, not training that you have to do. And there are scholarships. We have a couple of scholarships to individuals to help offset courses through our foundation, but there are also, I know Mark Lurie mentioned Say Yes. There's a Greater Buffalo Foundation that also provides scholarships throughout multiple counties. And so there are a number of areas that students can find scholarships to come through a workforce development program. We generally don't use TAP and Pell for our programs. Our programs are not enough hours to cover that. Those require a certain number of hours or to meet some other criteria currently for TAP. So we haven't been utilizing TAP or Pell, but students can get funded through various other funding agencies and ways to get funding. Next slide. We have a small business development center here at Niagara County Community College, and I just wanted to let businesses know that if you're interested in classes, the upcoming classes are, this is an old slide, I apologize, but those were upcoming classes we had previously. Those are the types of classes that are available and can be utilized through the Small Business Development Center here at the college. And they help with a whole bunch of things. So they can help businesses learn about selling. They can help businesses learn to do all kinds of assistance in applying for grants. They help with a whole lot of different areas as well. They work generally with employers that have less than 550 employees. Okay. I went fairly quickly. I went way over time last time, so I tried to sort of quicken it up a little bit. But if you do have questions, I will answer anything I can for you. Feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is listed. I am here at the college, and so feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Alice. Kathy, I don't know if did you want to wait till the end of the program to answer those questions that are in the chat? You got to unmute yourself, Kath.
Thanks. I think Teresa's have been answered along the way, and I think that Maureen may touch on those as well. There was one question. Are there any grant programs available in conjunction with technical schools or community colleges that can develop specialized curriculum for specific businesses in need of unique course material and training? I don't know, Mary Alice, if you have anything. If not, Maureen may touch on some of that.
I'm going to grab that. That is the SUNY grant I was talking about earlier. So if you're looking for specialized training, it's not safety training that you're required to do. But let's say you have workers who may be working, I don't know, just in a different area, and you're looking for them to do some more specialized tasks and move up in the field. Those SUNY training grants, we can partner with someone and utilize those. And so there may be funding for that directly through those. We frequently utilize in a number of areas, there are unions that do have training grants to assist employees to move ahead. So depending on what the agreement is as an employer that you have with the union, some of the unions do put money into employees so that, for instance, in healthcare, if an employee's in like a custodial position or another position and they food service, something like that, they want to move into nursing, they want to move into a pharmacy tech position, that frequently is something that is able to be utilized to do that. But if you're talking like manufacturing or one of those areas that is not a program per se that we have, or that doesn't have a union backing it in that way, we can certainly work with the SUNY grant and see if that would fit. And we do have a grant writer here on campus who would work with that to see if we could get some funding for that. That would be a direct contact, and there are some caveats with that, but that's a possibility.
Okay. Thank you, Mary Alice. Appreciate that. Our final presenter is Maureen Bartlett. Maureen is the coordinator of adult education, Orleans Niagara BOCES, to discuss adult and continuing education opportunities. Maureen, take it away.
Thank you very much. I wanted to start by just mentioning that I joined the education world in 1990 and have been in it ever since. So I've really had a front row seat for how education has changed, at least at the high school level. From when I first started, which was when, 4-year degrees were the big push, to when my own kids were in college, in high school, and looking at college, and where I sit today. So right now, my role at Orleans Niagara BOCES, I have a foot in the high school world, which was our 11th and 12th grade programs. And then I also oversee our adult education programs. So I wanted to mention first that in our high school, I think that's what most people are more familiar with. We generally graduate 700 to 800 high school seniors from our 2 campuses in Sanborn and Medina. Those are programs that are open to 11th and 12th graders that is paid for by their school district. We currently offer 25 different programs. So as the need arises in the real world, we expand and offer that program if we can do it. I'll be focusing today, however, on our adult and continuing education. It's smaller, but still is very vibrant and provides a lot of services. So I've kind of split that up into 3 categories. Can you go back one, Kathy? Sorry. Yep. I'll be talking about our literacy zone, our health science careers, and our skilled trades. Okay, you can go to the next one. As Mark mentioned, we all in this call and throughout the area, we really work in continuation with each other, and we pass people off. We try to coordinate. So when I sit down with someone looking at a skilled trades job or career, I like to kind of use this training spectrum. So starting in the far left, we do offer 11th and 12th grade. As Mark mentioned, there's also the P-TECH model. There is the CDOS model, which is for 9th and 10th graders. So typically that's happening within our high schools or specialty programs within our high schools, or then students come to us in 11th and 12th grade. We also have a partnership with the Goodwill Skill Builder, which is a very quick course. Our adult ed slice of the pie, which is the one in the middle, is we offer 165 or 216-hour courses in various trades, and grants are available. Most of our students are using a grant to pay for that training, and we are mostly located in Lockport, Niagara Falls. Sometimes people instead will want to jump straight into the union or into an apprenticeship model, or we can pass them off to the union, which we do. Also, NCCC, sorry, SUNY Niagara, I haven't fixed my logo in there yet. Sorry about that, Mary Alice. We will gladly pass people over to an associate's degree program or to a micro-credential. Or, of course, we refer people out to Northlands or Alfred Tech. So what I typically do when I'm talking to an adult learner is, how much time do you have? How much economic resource do you have? How quickly do you need to get trained and get into a position? And then I kind of lay out this menu, like here are all your various options, which is the best fit for you. Okay, next one, please. So this is kind of the way I see adult education at Orleans Niagara BOCES falling in the educational continuum. Typically, a student will go through primary, intermediate, high school. A lot of students can flow very smoothly through that and go on to college or into a job. Not all people are able to do that, however. So that's where I see Orleans Niagara BOCES adult education being an option. Some people get sidelined in high school. Something happens and it derails them and they have to go back and get a GED. Or they went to high school and then realized, I really should have gone to BOCES and studied a trade before I go on to the next step, which would be college or job. So I see adult education as filling that slot right there. Next one, please. So for people who got sidelined or derailed during high school and didn't finish high school, our 3 literacy zones are there to support them. So we are located in spots where students are who might need that. So if you go through downtown Lockport, the Community Education Center, which was the old bank on the corner of Pine and Walnut, we offer GED as well as ESL. And those are free through a number of really large grants that Sue Deemer coordinates. We offer literacy and GED high school equivalency there. We also have a hub in Medina, and then we have a 3rd hub in downtown Niagara Falls. Next one, please. We also have programs within the jails. So again, we might have people whose lives got sidetracked because of some kind of criminal justice issue. So we offer GED completion there, as well as computer classes. We have a partnership with SUNY Niagara, where now our people in those programs can take college level courses. Next one, please. We also have a good partnership with the courts. So sometimes if people are in the court system due to a substance abuse, they can be offered treatment, or they can also be offered training. So we do have a number of students who come in through that route. Next, please. So to look a little bit more into what we offer a 12-month practical nursing program, which is located in downtown Lockport. That is a day program, and students are able to complete that within 52 weeks. So we currently, you can see the picture there, have started our largest practical nurse program. We started with 35 students, and we are holding strong at 30. So those are students that might not be able to attend a longer program, or they might need to go during the day. Currently, that's a 4-day-a-week program with a 5th day as an extra day for labs. Next, please. We also, in our health sciences, offer phlebotomy and nurse assisting. We've been running most of those out of our workforce training center in Niagara Falls. The phlebotomy is biannual. We do 2 a year, spring and fall. And nurse assisting, we're able to offer as the need arises. With any of these classes, we need enough students and we need a teacher and a place, and then we can pretty much put together a class and run that class. Next one, please. So within manufacturing, so a nice program we have, we'll sometimes have students who come in, they'll finish their GED, and then we know they need skills on top of that. So we have a lot of dual enrollments, or sometimes we have a sequential enrollment where a student will come in, complete a GED, and then we can set them up with their next step. Again, we are happy to send them off to SUNY Niagara or to one of our programs. What you're seeing there is a day electricity program that is in that exact building in Lockport. That's a 4-month program. Next, please. Our other Lockport location is at the old Harrison Radiator plant on Walnut Street. We lease 2 large spaces there where we run an HVAC program and an electrical program. Those are both night programs that are 4 months in length. And again, one of the reasons we try to be in downtown is we do have people who ride their bicycle there or walk there. We try to be in those urban hubs so people can get to us easily. Next one, please. And we used to run all of our adult programs at night here in our Sanborn location. That kind of became untenable because we had high school kids in during the day and then a completely separate set of students at night. So we do, however, still offer our automotive repair class there in the evening. The teacher you see there, he'll teach all day with the high school kids, take a break, and then teach 4 hours in the evenings. Next one. In our Niagara Falls location, similarly, this is a literacy zone as well as a skilled trades training center. So we have students who will come during the day and be completing their high school equivalency. And then we offer welding and machining and building trades in that location. So again, we don't see ourselves as competitors in any way with the other training providers. It's just we're a different option. So students who are wanting to drive to SUNY Niagara, absolutely, those facilities are available. This site tends to attract people who need to be in downtown Niagara Falls, where they're within walking distance or biking distance or on a bus route to get to our training. And just to respond to one of the questions in the chat, we work very, very closely with Don Jablonski's office. And I would say currently about 75 to 80% of our students who come to these programs are funded through the WIOA grant. We also work closely with Access VR, with Pathstone, which is a funding option for people in agriculture. We have with the VA, people can use their VA benefits. And we have a small number of students who self-pay, as well as people in apprenticeships that are being paid for through apprenticeship funds. Okay, next one, please. So here's just an example, some pictures. So the shop that you're seeing there is a machine shop with CNC, lathes, and mills. We finished that facility and then COVID hit. So as happened to most of us, things kind of slowed down during COVID, but we are absolutely up and running again. So again, we're probably training a lot of students that might not be able to get themselves into a college program. And we try to work with them one-on-one to make sure that they get the funding they need, the support that they need. And then what I always promise is we're going to give you as much training as we possibly can in 216 hours or 165 hours, and then happily link you up with wherever you want to go next, whether that's joining a union, continuing on at SUNY Niagara, potentially going to Northlands, or getting immediate employment. So in our classes, we try to bring in local employers as well as the unions. And again, we recognize that every student's needs are individual. And that is individual in terms of how much time they have, how much resources they have, and how quickly they need to get trained and into a decent job and hopefully a career down the line. Okay, next, I don't know if I put my contact info. I don't think I did. But certainly if you have any questions, happy to talk. I'm one of the only people in our BOCES that has 1 foot in our 9 through 12 programs, as well as 1 foot in our adult training programs. So I'm happy to be a connection for any connections that you need with the BOCES programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. And you did put your contact information in on your first slide.
Oh, good me. All right. Thank you.
Think. Yeah, it is in there.
All
Your
right.
phone
Good
number,
me.
so thank you for that. Plus, if anyone needs any more information, you know, we've got the slide deck coming out to you for very, very soon with all the information in it. You know, my good friend Dan Uset from Voss Manufacturing commented, and thank you, Dan, for those comments. You know, about the semiconductor industry coming to New York with the big Micron project in Syracuse. And of course, a lot of our companies here in this region are ramping up to be a part of that supply chain. One of the biggest reasons why we're focusing on that early talent pipeline. You know, so that's very, very important. Kathy, are there any other questions that we need to address in the chat?
Mark, I see your hand up. Are you going to answer Janice's question?
No, I was going to comment on something about Mike and Micron. Niagara Falls School District was one of 5 other districts to receive a Micron grant of $400,000 to have a offshoot program outside of Syracuse. So we're happy to be part of that Micron initiative in Niagara Falls. What was the question, Kathy? I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
Mark, Janice is asking about PS2, who she would contact. She's interested in working with students and having them come out. They have an operation in Youngstown, Porter, Ransomville area. Who would be best to contact?
She could start with me, and I will put her in touch with the appropriate, so she doesn't have to go through a lot of calls to get to the appropriate counselor. M. Laurie at NF Schools. If you can type my email in there. There it is.
I will do that.
Have her start with me, and I will make the introduction to the appropriate career counselor and administrator to cut through any red tape, so he's not getting bounced around.
Well, thank you, Mark, and thanks for doing such a tremendous job out there at Niagara Falls High School and through the school district. We really appreciate all your hard work, and thanks to all of our presenters this morning for your fantastic information. Again, when you leave this session, you're going to receive a survey that will appear in a new window in your internet browser. We would really appreciate your comments. They will help Kathy develop the 2025 Business Workshop Series. So until next time, have a great day. Enjoy that sunshine out there, and we'll see you, everybody.